Hello everyone, my name is Clancis and welcome to my channel. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Even though I'm starting this video quite late, the reason why I'm starting this video quite late is because my Wi-Fi is acting up after load shedding. I think it was 4 hours of load shedding today, and so my Wi-Fi is kind of like really slow. So if this video does not come out tonight like the usual time, which is around 11 p.m., then it's going to be uploaded the following day, which is going to be a Wednesday on the 26th of April 2023, around 7, 8, 9. It will depend once again on the Wi-Fi if it does not act up. So like I said, without further ado, I just wanted to do that disclaimer in case you've been waiting for my daily dose of analysis of the situation we are finding ourselves in. Yes, it is still Thabo Bester. And today, Katlego Bereng's family went to the police station and opened a case against the Department of Health, the Department of Correctional Services, and GFORCE or G4S on the grounds of contravention of the National Health Act. I think there are some few. I didn't have. I'm gonna confess. I did not look at the act or the law that they are opening this case on, but I would assume that it has something to do with the fact that if a person is found deceased and they have their ID on or some sort of identification, it is upon the police to notify. Is it the police, right? It is upon the Department of Health to notify the police notify the family if they are found that indeed their loved one has passed on or is in hospital. If the person does not have any sort of identification on them, then they become a John Doe, and this is where an unidentified body is in a government mortuary, are waiting for any family member to walk in and say, hey, I'm having a loved one that has gone missing and I'm here to check bodies that are in your mortuary to identify in case one of my loved one is in there. We all know that the Bereng family did go to all the state morgues to look for Katlego, and they came up with nothing, to a point where we are at today when the police called the family to say, hey, we need your DNA. And this DNA was to be tested against that of the burnt body in cell 35, which we know to be Thabo Bester's cell, or used to be Thabo Bester's cell before he made the great escape. I think also the reason why they opened a case against the Department of Health is the fact that either they sold off the body or the body was stolen because it was in their custody after all, and also violation of the body if indeed they did hand over the body to Dr. Nandipha Magudumana and her crew. Whatever the case is, we're going to hear all these details once the trial begins. And the other thing that I noticed about today's event at the police station was the political opportunism that was done by Action SA. I don't think this matter has anything to do with politics. I understand that we are moving towards the national elections in 2024, and this is a campaigning strategy for Action SA, and I think that is very heartless of them to have done something like that. I think the family should be left alone together with the government to deal with this matter without politics involved. I don't think that the Bereng family ought to have allowed Action SA to be there, even though Action SA may think they come there with some sort of power and a voice for the family. Still, this is political opportunism that should not be allowed. I still say it is very unacceptable that now politics are involved in a matter that is of criminal nature. So I think South Africans should call out Action SA on this one, just like they did hold Batumpulu accountable for the fact that he is now in the forefront of a son he did not know. So I do say it again, this was a political opportunism by Action SA, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So I also woke up this morning to the news that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is singing like a canary. Not only she's singing like a canary, but she's also conducting the choir. Because at some point during her interrogation, when they came to the point where she was asked about the possible bodies that may be buried in the backyard of her mansion in Hyde Park, she said, let's park that one until we hear what Thabo Bester has to say about it. So for me, it was like the audacity. This is your interrogation. The state wants to know. They want to form a watertight case against you, and you are telling them, you are basically conducting this choir and telling them that I will sing. But before I sing this favorite song of mine, I want to hear the founder of this choir, what notes he is singing. That I found that very interesting. However, though, I also think on the investigator's side, it was strategic to park that question until they focus on Thabo Bester. I believe this weekend when they interrogate him, what he's going to say on this very point. So it's highly possible that Thabo Bester may protect Nandipha if really Thabo Bester loved Nandipha. And I think Nandipha also want to use this as a litmus test to see how much Thabo Bester loved her. Because clearly, while they were on the run, they definitely did discuss that should we get caught and we get interrogated, because we're not going to be interrogated in the same room at the same time. We'll be interrogated in separate times, separate rooms, and this is the story we should stick with. And I think that's why almost a lady. That is why Dr. Nandipha Magudumana said, let's hold on to that one until I hear what Thabo Bester has to say about it. I think she wants to see how far Bester is willing to throw her under the bus. If it's not the case, then it is about love. I think she still loves this man, and she now wants to test how much this man loves her. And if Thabo Bester dares throw her under the bus about the possible bodies that are buried in their backyard in a Hyde Park, that is when then she will start singing really good harmonies about who is responsible of killing those people, why they were killed, what did they see, what did they hear, and what's the reason behind the murder, and why did they bury them behind the house or in the backyard, whatever the case is. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this one is going to go. But other than that, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana did mention that her father, which I actually do believe this. I do believe when I was looking at Dr. Nandipha's father, I'm not saying that he did not know things. I think he did know some things, but I don't think that he was involved in any way with everything that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana was involved in, because I cannot imagine how a father would go against every teaching that he instilled in his child, and turns around and participates in the things that he taught his child against, like stealing, lying, all these principles and values that we were all brought up with. Now he is participating. That means everything that he taught her and all his children, then it was all in vain. So I don't think that he participated. I think there is a possibility that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana and Thabo Bester may have forged his signature when they hired that Baki that went and collected Katlego's body from the morgue to the Mangaung, what do you call that place again? That prison in Mangaung. And I sincerely doubt that he was involved or he had any knowledge that Ekbaki was hired in his name and all of that. I think the investigators need to go and check the signatures and CCTV footages in that particular car hire company to confirm that indeed he was involved. And probably if he did go hire that Baki, I don't think he knew what that Baki was going to be used for. Maybe it was a decoy or something like, okay, this must not lead back to me, so let me use my dad so that I don't know what they thought it was going to happen, because look what happened to him. He is now implicated in something he probably has no idea about, and he had to spend a weekend behind bars. All that humiliation, all that humiliation because of a daughter that is dick trick. Okay, no, never mind. I didn't say that. Trust me, I did not say that. Dr. Nandipha Magudumana is a happy woman with this man that she is now accused of being involved in heinous crimes, allegedly. It is also very interesting to note that Nathi Sikeleni has also come out to support his sister. All of the stuff that he was busy telling the media about his sister, what kind of a person she is, and how she watched Thabo Bester throw them out of the home and all that sort of stuff, and all angry and saying things that I'm thinking, dude, do you understand what you are doing to yourself? You are implicating yourself. That is why remaining silent is the best option for anybody that the finger might point, because you were living under Thabo Bester's roof, and you did also admit that you knew that that was Thabo Bester. And what did you do about it? Why didn't you tell the police that, hey, your guy is living with my sister? So I still think that you are in trouble with the law unless you bargain with the state and become a state witness. That will be very interesting. I think that's the route you should take, sir. And so now he's come out to say, this is my sister. He hates watching the news and seeing his sister being the topic of the day. And this is not who she is and all that sort of stuff. He even went as far as saying that if she ever needed any help, he is there to help her. So I was like, okay, talk about changing your tune. Either to, I'm not sure, maybe he was notified that he will be picked up by the police, and so he wants his sister's lawyers to be his lawyers too and be paid by the sister. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. It's just me just thinking like a crazy person. Um, the other thing that I was very worried about was the fact that the interrogation record, or the recording, was leaked. And that could jeopardize the state's case. Instead of the case being watertight, it will be quite loose, because when you interrogate a suspect, all of those things that they've been said by the suspect, it's stuff that is going to be used against the suspect in court. So now when you are leaking these interrogation outcomes, what are you trying to say? Which is, for me, kind of like proves that there is something sinister that is going on, where big fish are involved, and they are trying all their best to ensure that this case is either thrown out without any names are called on the stand by either Thabo Bester or Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, or the G4 securities, or the CCTV technician, because I don't think that any of those people will go down by themselves. They are going to drag people that were involved in this and know each one of them who they were. And I'm also thinking that I'm thinking that the investigator needs to be also careful when he or she going to interrogate Thabo Bester, because such information are sensitive and you should not be out there. Because once this information is out there, then it can be used in a very sinister way to weaken the state's case. So I really do believe that the reason why the investigator listened to Dr. Nandipha Magudumana when she said that let's hear what Thabo Bester has to say about the bodies, and they listened, it's a strategy, because I don't think they want to antagonize her to a point where she shuts down by asking her this vital question, because we all want to know who those people are. What had happened? Apparently, even a security guard had gone missing. What had happened to the security guard? Apparently, his car is still in the Hyde Park. I'm not sure if it's still there, but apparently he disappeared and left his car there. So where is he? What happened to him? So those are the things that we want to hear, and I understand that the strategy of the investigator or the interrogator not to push for her to answer this question, which is another very interesting thing because Andres Neyman did go to the Hyde Park home where he noticed some few things that the forensics that went. Remember the forensics that went to Hyde Park to the hideout of Thabo Bester and Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. What were they looking for? Because apparently there are soft ground that shows that that area was recently dug up. And there were new shrubs in some spots where those shrubs are not supposed to be there. What's buried under there? What were they covering? So how come the forensics did not see those things? Now a private investigator sees all those things and then he's asking questions. That is why I'm saying that it looks like in the future in South Africa, as things are, people are now going to start hiring private investigators to solve a crime because our police, well, you know how I feel about the police. I hate all the time to spot out the negative about our country, but hey, we are citizens, we pay taxes, we need to ensure that we have a working police force. Now, private investigators are going to be thriving in South Africa not so long of a future to come. So all of these things were quite interesting to watch today, and I don't want to make this video way too long. I realized that yesterday's video was long. So I want to cut this right here and say thank you so much for watching. If you have some comments about this case, please leave a like and also leave a comment down below. Share the video far and wide. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.